here for another video, and I have with me my love, Raw98, and we wanted to talk to you guys about food addiction and the overused and misused word, moderation. So this morning we were watching a YouTube video of an interview with Chef AJ.
Yeah.
And she mentioned a really good quote by St. Augustine that was,
complete abstinence is easier than perfect moderation. Complete abstinence is easier than perfect moderation.
Yeah, so think about that. What is perfect moderation? There really is no defined term for what is perfect moderation, because what's moderation for you might be super strict to me.
Right.
And what's moderation to me might be like you're eating it every day, right? You know, so it really depends on what is moderation.
Because we can just label it whatever we want in our own minds, you know, as to, okay, I think, you know, once a week, you know, I'll allow myself popcorn, you know, and to somebody else, you know, and to that person, it may be fine, you know, like maybe they don't have, you know, an addiction that, you know, kind of craving that starts to trigger where they're like, you know, like Wednesday night's my shows. And I normally do, you know, like a little something on Saturdays, and we normally do popcorn on Saturdays, and I was allowing myself Saturdays, but I think I'm going to get Wednesdays in there too.
Yeah.
And then, you know, pretty soon, then you've got 8 times a month you're eating popcorn, and, you know, say it's not vegan, you know, it's got butter on it, you know, and whatever else, you know. So,
salt
you know,
is
say
another
it's,
one too.
you know, say it's kettle corn. I used to make kettle corn. I put a few tablespoons of sugar in there, and it's all sugary. So you got the sugar,
the fat,
the salt, and the fat. Like,
I know. And that's just one example too, because when you have different single foods in moderation, like for example, you're talking about popcorn, having popcorn once a week, that may be moderation for a lot of people.
Sure.
But if you're doing popcorn once a week, and you're doing an iced latte once a week, and you're doing, you know, maybe people bring in donuts to work every Monday or something,
and then it's birthday,
you know,
next
and then,
Wednesday, and then you bring cakes and
exactly,
cupcakes.
and then, you know, and then you have your cheat day, right? So Sunday's your cheat day.
Because you've done really good.
Yeah, you've done really good. You've been eating things in moderation. Or Friday night is like pizza night. Or Thursday night, you know, the kids go to a baseball practice, and you know, take them out.
You take them out, or the pizza night is the end of the baseball. It's the end of the baseball. But, you know, say if your kid has, you know, plays 4, you know, sports a year, then there's 4 times a year you're eating pizza. And if you're trying to heal yourself or clean your act up or something, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then it turns into every day there's something in moderation, right?
Yeah, if you're doing it like that, where
you're always eating something different.
I'll give myself coffee once a week, just once a week. Yeah, that's 4 coffees a month. And then if you allow yourself that popcorn once a week, and you've got, you know, so there you've allowed yourself 8 different things. Yeah, it definitely can just trickle.
And it adds up. And
so moderation, I've thought, like, because it's different how you want to make it. It's really like how you want to make it.
Yeah, it's how far you want to go and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
because
I've thought, like, you know, okay, maybe just Thanksgiving. Maybe just Thanksgiving, I'll have a cooked vegan meal, you know, because I want to stay raw. I feel good raw. Like, I can literally feel the difference when I eat rice as opposed to eating, you know, a salad, you know, or like even a raw taco, you know, feels so much different than eating, or raw sushi, you know, you feel so much different.
Oh yeah, totally. It is so different. And it's hard to quantify what moderation is unless you're willing to try the abstinence. Because for me, I can't do moderation.
Right.
I can't do it. And that's why that quote resonated with me so much, because I need to be completely abstinent. And it's not necessarily a need either, it's a want. I want to be completely abstinent from cooked food because I just don't like how I feel. And it triggers my food addictions, which is another thing I wanted to talk about.
Right, the food addictions. It was interesting because of how, you know, they would correlate it with, you know, alcoholism, you know, and it's really similar. Like, you know, if you're a recovering alcoholic, and that's basically what you're doing when you're going to the extreme, I feel like, of trying to take in raw food living lifestyle as your predominant deal, then you're coming to grips with that you have a food addiction, and that you're trying to cut that addiction completely out. So therefore, it would be nice if friends and stuff didn't try to like, come on, just have this.
Yeah, because if you're a recovering alcoholic and you go to a party and you say, I'm sober, no one really comes up to you and is like, hey dude, come on, try this, right? Yeah. They don't do that because they respect the fact that you are sober. Especially
if they know you were a real hardcore drunk, and they're like, we're stoked to see that you're coming out of your funkiness. But the thing is with food is, we may be like big and inflamed and having not mental, but health issues.
Or mental issues.
Mental issues too, right? But I feel like it's not looked at the same as, like say, I guess if you're really big and you're trying to be good, then people are going to respect that the same, realistically.
To an extent. Or they'll say, I've had a lot of people say, well, you treat yourself. Why would, like a recovering alcoholic, say they're 1 year sober, they're not going to treat themselves to wine.
Yeah.
They're not going to treat themselves with the poison that they were putting into their bodies that they're trying to get rid of. So, like if I, while I was losing weight, people would be like, oh, you hit 30-pound down, right? Like, when are you done with your diet? Because let's go celebrate and you can have cake and stuff. And it's like, I don't want that stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, and you have to I feel like just us as humankind, we have addictive personalities to different degrees. And so I find that I've had to create different addictions. I was somewhat addicted to ice cream. I would love to buy ice cream. I mean, we wouldn't carry it in the house all the time because it would just get eaten, And you shouldn't be eating ice cream all the time. But it's nice to be able to replace that addiction with an ice cream. And now I can actually overindulge in ice cream, and it's not going to hurt me in the same sense that actual dairy ice cream was hurting me.
And I am a condiment fiend. I could eat condiments. I know it's gross, but I could eat condiments out of the container because that's just my addiction, right? I would love it. So I love barbecue sauce, and I would just douse stuff with sauce, and I would almost only we were talking about hamburgers and how you would dip it in the barbecue sauce, and really all you're tasting is the barbecue sauce. And that's what I was addicted to. So for me, the replacement is my dips and dressings. I could literally eat the dips.
Sometimes
just like a
I
soup.
do. I make a dip or a dressing, and I'm I taste it, and I'm that's good.
You're just
and I'll do
soup.
3 good chugs. Sometimes and I'm okay, well, this is for my salad.
Yeah, and at the end of the salad, I like to drink the rest of the dressing because it's so good. And that's a good point of replacing with a good thing. But another thing that I like to talk about is moderation. Is a word that we use to justify eating things we already know we shouldn't. So if you have to use the word moderation to justify eating something, you should not already be eating it, right? So it's kind of well, I can have potatoes once in a while, and potatoes aren't going to kill you.
Sure.
They're just a survival food, and sure, they have nutrition and stuff, but is it ideal? Is it going to hydrate you?
It's a survival food, not a thrival food, potatoes.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So, if I have to say, oh, just in moderation, I know that I can't do potatoes, or that I shouldn't do
It's
potatoes.
A trigger food for you.
It's a trigger food for me.
Yep.
And for some people, I have a friend whose trigger food is rice, white rice, and I hate rice. I never liked rice.
I loved rice, but it had to be doused in butter with a grip of salt.
Yeah, and my potatoes had to be loaded with olive oil, nutritional yeast, salt, and garlic. Otherwise, I really didn't enjoy them. Or French fries was a really big one, but that's oil and salt. Right. So we really had to douse our starch complex carbohydrates with these other things. And, of course, if you do potatoes, and you can do it without it triggering you, but also watch yourself. Maybe it is triggering you and you don't really realize it. Because if I allowed a sweet potato in my salad, right, the food addiction part of me, the trigger, it's the next day I'm well, I was okay with the one. Yeah. Maybe I'll put 3 in and I eat less salad. And then the day after that, it's, it just snowballs. And
you're
all of a sudden...
Actually, just one day, a week, I'll allow myself a bowl of potatoes. Just potatoes. And, 3 other days out of the week, I'll get potatoes in on my salad. To some people...
That's fine.
That's chill. Really... You know, if you're trying to heal yourself, though, from what I've seen, is that, you know, it's nice to ex-nay all the cooked food completely, you know, and not incorporate that. But for some people, like, there's some amazing people out there who eat like a cooked vegan diet, you know, clean, you know, like, I'll throw them out, Frank Medrano.
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
Amazing athlete.
Dr. Greger.
Right.
You know, he eats cooked food too.
Sure.
But it's not like, these people don't suffer from the food addiction, and it's hard to explain to somebody who says, oh yeah, I eat mostly raw and I have my cooked stuff once in a while. It's hard to explain that to somebody who doesn't have the food addiction problem. And I've found, like, through my coaching and everything, a lot of people have this issue.
Sure.
Where complete abstinence is so much easier than trying to you know, maneuver through the moderation.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because moderation, like we've been talking about,
it's just easier on your psyche and all of that, just to be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I loved mashed potatoes. Like, I would have a plate full of mashed potatoes.
Me too.
You know,
potatoes are like, oh my gosh.
And the way that my body responded to potatoes, because I've tried them as being raw, I'm like, oh, I'll eat some potatoes, and you know, it didn't feel really good, you know, and I didn't have them again. I could feel like not that good. Yeah. You know.
But to somebody coming from a standard North American diet who moves over to a really healthy, whole, mostly high raw cooked vegan meal at dinner or whatever, if you're coming from a standard North American diet and you move over to this, you're gonna feel so much better.
So much better.
Right? So including the potato isn't that bad. Yeah. But when you're coming from raw, and you're clean and everything, you really notice.
It's so interesting, the different gradations and levels of how you feel. Yeah. You know, so a cooked vegan, you know, meal, still, coming from standard drive-through meals, you know, you're a windower or whatever they call it.
Total window diet.
The window diet, right? Where you just drive through and you get your to-go. Like, you know, they're going to feel much better. But coming from, say, you transition from that cooked, you know, vegan into a raw, and if you go back to eating cooked, some people, like we've said before, like they're, you know, they've been raw for so long and they started incorporating cooked foods again. And it's really just a preference. We are all amazing, like, wondrous creatures. And the way that our minds process things, maybe in our own mind, we feel it like, I'm just needing to eat cooked food now. I need to be grounded. I like how, you know, Morris or whatever talks about, like, these cooked foods bring us down, kind of ground.
They do. Yeah. And I find, for me, because I don't want to do the cooked foods because I know what they make me feel like, I'll ground myself more with, like, greens and, like, a little more fats in my evening meal. And that really pulls me down and makes me grounded. It does, So I found ways to maneuver around that that needing of that grounding satiation instead of being, like, all flighty in the clouds on mostly fruit. Right? So you got to find that balance, and that's where I found, with me, I found the balance by doing, you know, fruit in the morning and for snacks, and then a salad, lunch, and dinner, because I feel a lot more balanced, really. So it takes away my need for the cooked food. And sure, that, like, the cravings never ever go away. Right. Just like an alcoholic, you're always going to have that, you know, voice in the back of your head.
Or you smell something.
Yeah, and that you used to love, and you're like, oh.
Or, you know, But I know you try to just change it in your own mind. Like, if I smell a barbecue, I think, oh, you know, there we are, like, we're literally cooking the flesh of another creature and feeding on that. And, like, so the smell isn't really that enticing, you know, it's more the sauces.
It's the sauces,
that you're the garlicky, you know, herbs. It's those smells that, you know,
really trigger.
It's crazy.
And I've come to, like, the mindset of, like, when you go to, like, a hardware store and they're having, like, a barbecue to raise money for whatever, and you're walking into the hardware store and you see it and you're like, oh, it smells like childhood or whatever. I've learned to put the mindset that is what it smells like. You know, like, the food court smells like the mall. When I go to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving, that just smells like Thanksgiving. It's like an air freshener or a scent in the air. And I can enjoy the smell without having to eat the food.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah, when they're cooking like a bagel, like an everything bagel with the onion.
Oh yeah, those ones.
So I'll just stand in the hallway for just a quick second. I try not to have people see me because I don't want them to like, oh, see you, because but I really want to ingest the smell and just like smell it.
Yeah, and sometimes the smell is way better than the actual food. Because there have been times where in the past I would smell something and be so good, it's so good, and I eat it and be like, it's not the same.
And that's what you're tasting. Like if you plug your nose, you can't taste anything. If you have a stuffy nose, you literally can't taste anything. So it's really fascinating, the nose, the sense, and I feel like that's where say not being a Puritan or a purist in raw foods and using seasonings and spices and herbs really intensify and make it. That's kind of the new addiction. The new addiction for us is we go to these spice stores and we get spices, and like I've got my own little carry case with just that'll fit all the spices in there, because I just want to have those with me everywhere I go, because that's what makes a cucumber taste amazing. Yes. So like you can eat a cucumber with some hot chili peppers and whatever, some sort of spice on there, some more flavoring, and it helps the mouth water. And that's kind of what we like with the salty, is we want our mouths to water.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that goes into the addiction part, the dopamine that's released, and these different things that we have happen when we ingest these foods.
And the high calorie foods like oils and animal products, they release the most dopamine, so we're kind of like really addicted. So when you cut those out of your diet, that
was what the interview was basically about. It was basically how when you cut those out,
you're losing all of that dopamine that you're used to getting, right? So it's kind of like it is a drug, because you're getting that high from the food, and a lot of people are scared to release animal products and oils because like they may not know that it releases the dopamine, but instinctually we crave those high calorie foods because in times of famine that's what we needed to sustain us. And in modern life we have our 9-to-5 jobs, so we need to feel full for 4 hours, right? When if you're eating a high raw or all raw diet, you got to eat like every couple hours, which is no big deal.
Because basically the same like on any other kind of diet, like they say to keep the metabolism going, eat every couple hours. So it's not too much different, but it's definitely a different choice of foods. Like I see my coworkers going for some Reese's peanut butter cups, the Snickers bar, the sweet crazy coffee. They're going for that sugar rush, and I'm feeling that same too. I'm like, ooh, you guys, like I kind of want to. I loved Reese's Pieces.
I know, me too. Those were,
but I would try not to eat 4 at a time, like in one bite. No, but I want something sweet too. So there's where the ice cream comes in.
Yeah.
A smoothie. Sometimes we'll do it, but like I want some ice cream. That always helps me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know. Yeah, food addiction is a hard one. It's tough, and like I said, so many people that I coach deal with this issue.
Yeah.
So
the oils are insane, because someone's getting a salad and they think they're doing good, and then they add oil and vinegar on it, and just how many calories are in a 3 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons of oil, is more
240 calories.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fat calories, and a lot of people get scared of calories. They're like, oh well, I tell people, all of you guys, to eat high calories. So when they think, oh well, oil's okay.
Yeah, because you gotta get those calories.
Yeah. But it's not the same, because each kinds of calories is different, and fat calories act differently in the body than carbohydrate calories, so salads. So when you're like thinking about eating an 800 calorie salad the way we do it, we have like the majority of our calories coming from our dressings, which are date based or have a little bit of seeds in them or nuts or something. And so that is our main calorie source. But if you're doing just a salad with oil and vinegar, most of your calories are coming from the oil, right? Which is blocking the cell wall from insulin getting the sugar in your cell, and
it just is a conglomerate of funky stuff that happens with the oils in the diet, and there's so much oil being taken in daily.
Yeah, and then that makes the whole omega-6 to omega-3 ratio out of balance, and then you can't convert the omega-3 into EPA and DHA, which are for your brain, your depression, your cardiovascular system and everything. Yeah. So we need to decrease our 6s instead of eating the same and increasing our 3s. We don't need to increase our 3s. We need to decrease our 6s. So getting the oils out, getting the animal products out is like number one, and then you can work on getting high raw, you know.
Yeah, good. It's really just how you feel.
Yeah, it is really how you feel, and if eating those foods cause issues, then perhaps it's a good idea to be abstinent and take them completely out of your diet, because if it's going to cause an issue, then why do it in moderation? You know, why put that stuff into your body if it makes you feel funky or off or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like really coming in tune with your body and feeling like, oh, I'm just kind of, you know, I'm kind of a little gassy, or the gassy actually has a really funky smell, and it's because we had that dressing that was made with, you know, 3 tablespoons of miso in it. Like maybe it was the miso, you know?
Yeah. So really, really getting in tune with your body, and that's what listening to your body is all about. It's not giving into a craving.
Right.
It's listening to how your body reacts to certain foods and then eliminating them out of your diet.
Yeah.
So, but food addiction, we could talk about this for hours.
Right.
But we are in Las Vegas. Filming this video for you guys. And we are going to head up to the Strip.
Yeah. Do a little walkabout.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get like another video made or something, like, you know, doing raw vegan in Vegas or something.
Yeah, because it's possible, because we're doing it.
Yeah, right.
So if you guys like this video, if you like this style of video of us talking together, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more. If you like this style of video, please in the comments below give us our topics to talk about, because we'll do a lot more like this when we're together. And you can find me on Facebook, Lissa's Raw Food Romance, on Instagram at Raw Food Romance, and on Snapchat, Lissa Raw Vegan. And you can find the love of my life at
Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and Facebook, Raw Natty Nate.
Yeah, so go follow him because he's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the chat, and thank you guys for watching. We're gonna go head out to the Strip.
Yes.
And hopefully all of you guys can fruit on.
Love you guys.